All right, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing today? So, for today, it's going to be the same. It's going to be open for questions during the lecture and the lab. I'll be opening our breakout rooms shortly. But one quick important thing would be today we will introduce assignment 3 or mini project 3. And I'm going to discuss about that a little before we start taking questions about your assignments and everything. So I'll get to that in a bit. I'm just waiting for a few more people to join, and then I'll start explaining the assignment. This one's pretty easy. It's essentially just adding up a front end to whatever you've done so far. But yeah, I will go through the details soon. All right, I'll share my screen and slowly begin. I believe everyone can see my screen. If not, just let me know. Okay, so this right here is the details for the mini project part 3. So in the previous parts of the project, we have seen that you've created a database that will hold our information, but now we're gonna add a front end to it. We're gonna make sure it has necessary components, and we're gonna make sure that all the connections between everything is perfect. So you could say this is your first step into making a proper full stack project or full stack assignment, you could say. So that's a very good news. We've come a long way since we've begun. And I mean, it's amazing that we've come this far. Now we're making our own full stack projects. Okay, so the rules are the same. Each of the assignments, including this one, is individual. Now, plagiarism will be penalized. This includes usage of ChatGPT without having a rigorous understanding of what the code is doing. Okay. Let's go on to the instructions now. So the first instruction would be, for this project, we will be using Vite instead of the regular Create React app. The reason behind that is even though they serve very similar purposes, Vite is more efficient and faster. So that's the reason we're introducing Vite for this. Even though we have created a starter file for you with Vite inside it, all the packages installed, You should definitely still check out the documentation over here that has been hyperlinked. Then, yeah, we have the starter file over here. Feel free to download it and check it out. This is a very simple React application. Now, the front end doesn't have to be very fancy as long as it has all the basic requirements. Okay. The app requirements are as follows. Uh, so the first one would be actually, before I go to that, I'm gonna show you the picture over here. I might have to make this a little bigger, but I'll do that in a bit. So we have added a picture of what the components would look like ideally. Now, again, designing is completely up to you. This is not even a proper design. This is just to show you what kind of components we expect in each of these sections. So to start with login section requires two fields, username and password. This part would also require two buttons, login and sign up. So you just have two fields for username and password and have two buttons underneath saying login, and another one would be sign up. And now for the login sign up part, you don't really have to add functionality to it. We're gonna work with the functionality later on. It's just so that it's created already for you guys to work on it later on so that the next assignment doesn't get too heavy on you. Okay. Next, we have the conversion section. This will require three fields on the button. Fields include currency code, amount, and converted amount, and a button for converting the amount that you have entered. Thirdly, we have the add currency section. This should include multiple fields corresponding to the necessary fields to create a new currency object, and also a button for submitting. This you have to check with your backend part where you're creating the object for the currencies that you're essentially pushing into the table. So the number of fields would ideally correspond the number of objects being pushed. Okay. Then we have the update currency section. Now this will require two fields, one for currency code, the other for amount, for the new conversion rate, and lastly a button for submitting. This only changes the currency, the conversion rate of a currency that already exists. Next, we have delete section. This requires a field for currency code and a button for deleting. So that's pretty simple for that. You just delete based on the currency code. So the design, as I said, design of the components is up to you. An image has been added to show what is required. Lastly, for login and sign up page, you just need one page that shows, okay. It essentially says the same thing. Just have to, this might require a little edit, but I'll do that in a bit. So yeah, for login sign up, you just have to put it on the top of the page like this. That's good enough. You don't have to worry about the rest. Lastly, after adding visual aspect to it, you have to make sure that the currency conversion page is functional. So each and every single one of these components, they have to be functional in order for you to achieve full marks. Grading, as far grading goes, it's pretty simple because the assignment is not that extravagant. It's just 4 marks for creating necessary components, 4 marks for adding functionality to the currency converter, and 2 marks for the design of the UI. So essentially 4 marks for creating components, 4 marks for functionality, and 2 marks for the design. That's pretty much it. And for submission, please submit the link to your GitHub repository and the credentials for the database from the previous setup. That's basically it for the third assignment. We will be opening it up for you guys today so that you have time to finish it. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. It's like the idea behind having small mini projects rather than going for one big project is so that you guys can kind of go ahead methodically because you're still learning the back end part. So it's good that we go step by step and end up with a full stack project like this. Any questions about the assignment? Exactly. Everything okay, I'm losing words over here. So everything functional, but not the login and sign up. You're correct. I do not understand the submit credentials of the database from the previous part for the submission part. Okay, so the details of the database and everything, that's about it. So um, let's look at the previous assignment. I guess that would make it a little clearer. Um, okay, let's see the submission details over here. So over here you see, please make sure all your database credentials are saved in the .env file that you have added. .env inside .gitignore before updating your remote repository. It's the same thing, the same database credentials that you have, all your links and everything, the connections that you made. Make sure you add those in your .env file. Okay. Yeah, that's about it for the assignment. Any other questions? So you only have to make the conversion, the updating, the add, delete these parts functional. The login sign up is not important. You just have to design it for now. Any questions? All right. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I will be making the assignment available about now. I'm just gonna go through it one more time. So you'll see for these assignments, we're kind of adding small stuff to your assignments. For example, we added Morgan middleware, then we are adding Vite over here. Just to get you guys used to understanding how to do something by reading the documentation. Even though for the Vite part, we have created a starter file, we wouldn't have to worry about it too much. But just in case to understand how it works, definitely give a read to the documentation. Yeah, that's about it for the assignment.